real estate agents. My name is Tiffany Fortenberry and I'm one of the owners at Prestige Title of Brevard. We're proud to be the sponsor of the Rockstar Real Estate Series for the second year in a row. As a family-owned and operated business, we are dedicated to providing service you can trust through every aspect of your transaction. We thank you for your business over the last 16 years and we look forward to continuing to serve our Brevard County Realtors.
Okay, so without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mitch Ribak. Most of you know him here, and I've spoken about him before, but we've been in business together for 19 years. And thank you. Oh, that deserves a round of applause, doesn't it?
For her, yes.
And Mitch has been doing real estate for 23 years, and he came here not knowing anybody, and I think he made most of his real estate commissions through open houses, and then he joined the golf course as a volunteer, and I think he golfed a lot because he still golfs a lot. But he has a great training on open houses as well on the Tribe University. But I've loved working with him. It's always changing, and he's a former broker owner, team leader. Now he is an organization and he helps everybody that he encounters that comes across his path. And he's such a willing, giving heart. And he's just, that's the kind of person he is. And that's why I love him. So, welcome, Mitch.
All right. Thanks, Pat. I'm good. Yeah, I'll shut it off. Check, 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 check. They both sound the same to me. Huh? Yes. Hey, everybody. How we doing? Lame, right? All right, so before I get going today, hey, Howard, nice to see you, buddy. Even Howard loves us so much, he flies up 3 hours every time we do this to come see us. So before I roll, I just want to chat for a minute. I know we have a stage, but I don't want to look tall and, you know, all that stuff. You know, we do these things all the time. People go to seminars all the time. Some people take notes, some people don't. Some people are on their phones playing tic-tac-toe while I speak, which is fine. But it really comes down to implementation. And I talk to realtors all the time, some that are hugely successful, some that are failing miserably. And it all comes down to the same thing. It's people that actually implement processes. And I don't care whether you're doing open houses, the stuff we're going to teach you today, that I'm teaching, that Dan and Tanin are teaching is amazing stuff if you implement it. So if you're not getting where you want to be in this business, there's no one to blame but yourself. And I don't mean that in a harsh way, because I know you have to be politically correct these days, but the reality is you have to look in the mirror sometime and take a look at yourself and say, am I where I want to be and why am I not there? Human nature is to blame other people or other things, but the reality is, including myself, I have goals that I haven't hit yet, and it's my fault. So I want you to think about that as you're going through today and stuff like that. If you want to get to here, someone, I think it was Mike, came to me the other day, and he says, I just need more consistent business. So how do you get more consistent business? Be more consistent, right? Pretty simple, right? All right, so I'm going to be talking about postcard marketing, and I'll tell you a quick story behind it. Actually, I will stand on the stage so I can actually see better. Oh, yeah, look at all the people. So years ago, I think it was 2003, I got a phone call from a guy up in Alexandria, Virginia. And he said to me, he goes, I want to buy this house. I'm going to put an offer on it. So we put an offer on it. And he goes, I have to sell my home. And I'm going to use the neighborhood realtor to do that. How many of you have been called, not you yourself, who has called you the neighborhood realtor? Really? That's good. So we call ourselves the neighborhood realtor all the time. I'm your neighborhood realtor. But generally, I've never heard a consumer say, we're going to use Mitch, he's our neighborhood realtor. And this guy is the neighborhood realtor. So I called him up. His name was Jack. I go, Jack, I want to understand how you well, first I said, I have a friend's going to call you to list his house, and I don't want a referral fee. So the first thing he says, well, what do you want? I go, I wonder how you became the neighborhood realtor. So he told me that. So we're going to go through that on this process. But it was a really cool story. I need water. And he was a really cool guy because he shared everything he does. I'm just going to give you the numbers now. So this is the end of his second year that he was doing what I'm going to teach you today. There was 1,000 homes there, and he had 50 listings over those 2 years. 50 listings. He owned 5% of the market. So that's pretty awesome. And he taught me everything I know about postcard marketing. The most important thing, first of all, let me ask you this. If you heard this before, don't answer it. Why would someone use you as a realtor? Just you. They know you, they like you. Almost. Better. So the only reason why, and all I do is analyze real estate and how to be more successful in real estate. It's all I do. Besides make really bad, stupid jokes and torment my wife and Pat. And the only reason why they will use you as a realtor is because you happen to be in front of them when they're thinking about buying or selling. That's it. And it really breaks down to that simple. If you are not in front of your customers, do not get mad at them for not using you. The statistic from NAR is that 88% of the consumers say they would use their realtor again. Only 11% do. That's it. And I can tell you, I've sold 1,000 homes, probably 950 different customers. I can count on one hand how many people I know would call me today if they were going to buy or sell a home. And by that one hand might be missing 2 or 3 fingers. I know, bad jokes. So I think it's important to understand that because nobody does enough touch points during the year to stay in front of people all the time. The postcard marketing does this for you. There's also another program. By the way, just put in your calendars on April 17th, I'm doing a webinar, and we'll get all of you guys the link, a webinar called How to Make $100,000 a Year Working 4 Hours a Day. And it's a really, really cool thing. It's how I made my living and how I made, sold 1,000 homes. All right. So first of all, picking the right neighborhood is the most important thing. I had an agent come to me recently. By the way, I call this OPT, old person's time. Recently means it was actually like 3 years ago. And they said, well, I'm just going to market my neighborhood. I go, well, what's the turnover rate? They're like, what does that mean? I go, well, how many homes have sold in your neighborhood? She goes, I don't care. I'm going to mail my neighborhood. She only had 150 homes in the neighborhood. By the time we went through this what I'm going to teach you right now, 1%. So that means 1.5 homes were going to sell there this year. Why would you spend money on marketing when only 1.5 homes are going to sell in that area? I don't care if you're marketing also, if you're marketing a $300,000 neighborhood or a $600,000 or a $1 million neighborhood, it's the exact same cost. Mailing is mailing is mailing. By the way, postcards, and I don't write this on here, all should be 6x9 or bigger. Do not do the little tiny ones because they don't see them, they go in the trash. You all consumers, right? What do we do with little postcards? In the trash. All right. So what you want to do is you want to property appraiser site. And I was going to do this live, but I'm going to just do it by verbal. And I want you to look up the subdivision that you're interested in marketing in. I don't like to do less than 500 homes, but depending on your budget, 250 is fine. But pick a neighborhood or neighborhoods that have accumulation of 500 or more homes, and then you go on the MLS, and you have to find how many sold, how many are active, how many are pending over the last 12 months. So, for instance, say I get 8 have sold on 100 homes. That's an 8% turnover rate. Everybody got that? It's so important. I see so many people who have been spending money on marketing. They get no results because there's nobody selling their home there. I like 8% or better. That's my number. If I'm not going to get 8%, now if it's a higher end neighborhood, I might do 7 or 6%. But remember, that's only 6 out of 100 homes. So on 1,000 homes, that's 60 homes. I'd rather have the more homes that are selling is the more opportunities for you to get that. Does this all make sense? Shake your heads. Yes. Please do this beforehand. If you have trouble understanding this when you get ready to do this, reach out to me and I'll help you. I'll walk you through it. Because I can't tell you how many tens of thousands of dollars I've seen people waste on marketing to neighborhoods that nobody's selling. If you're doing one-off postcards, just listed, just sold, once in a blue moon, you mail a neighborhood, don't waste your money. Once in a blue moon, you might get a response. And by the way, all the stuff I'm teaching you is stuff that I did wrong to learn how to do it right. I didn't do it right off the bat. I didn't learn all this stuff the first day. I remember I did my first mailing. I sold a house in Port St. John. I was all excited. I did a 700 postcard mailing. Just sold and rah, rah, rah. And then I waited. Actually, I think I had a flip phone back then. But are you working? And nobody called. And one postcard does not work. It's about being in front of them all the time. And you go, who's done postcard marketing? How many? That was like Porky Pig. How many people have gotten lots of responses from their one-offs? once in a blue moon, you might get a call. This is about consistency. You want to learn the neighborhood. You want to own the neighborhood. So if you're going to pick an area, like for instance, waterfront, like Jennifer and I live in Merritt Island on the water. If you want to if you're going to do waterfront, you need to know waterfront. So when people ask you questions, you know the answers. And this is the process. The first 8 weeks, you're going to send out 8 postcards. Every week, you're going to send out a postcard. But this is Jack's rule, not my rule, but it works. So every week, you're going to send out a postcard. It's a different postcard each week. And then you're going to do every other week forever. The reality is, you probably will not get any results till the 3rd or 4th month. So one of the things that I've learned about marketing, and I've owned 26 companies, is you're not going to get results right away. Marketing is people give up on their marketing so quickly because they spend all this money. But the reality is we generally look at 6 months to a year before our marketing really starts to take effect. So every other week after that, and giving you an example, just budget $1 a card for the month, right? That's probably what you'll be. Right now you can do it between 50 and 65 cents. But you figure $1, and 25 cents for the month. So if you're doing 1,000 homes, it's a little over $1,000 a month for marketing. Not too bad. All right, postcard 1, and this is so simple. You're doing the market update for the neighbors. How many homes are active? And you're listing them. What homes are active? What homes are under contract? What homes are sold? Right? I can tell you that I've gone on several listing appointments, and they didn't use me for one reason, because of course it was not my good looks. It was really because they've said this. Well, you know, so-and-so keeps sending me postcards giving me an update on the condos or the neighborhood, and that's why we're going to use that person, right? Because they're in front of them all the time. So market update is your first postcard that goes out. Your second one that goes out is, oops, it didn't make it on this slide for some reason. It fell off. I'd like to do top 10 things to do in the area. Because sometimes they'll actually stick that on the refrigerator and keep it there. So first one is market updates. Second one is top 10 things in the area. By the way, this is exactly what my email program is which I'm going to go over on the 17th in that webinar. Because again, it's not as much about the content as much as it's about the contact. Right? Any questions on that? Really simple. So eight times in a row, every other week forever, and then market updates and top 10 things to do. Other things you should be doing as you own a neighborhood, and I wish I was taught this when I got in the business and nobody taught me this. I did the same neighborhood off of North Banana River Drive in Merritt Island called Island Crossings, only because I did an open house there every week. I do open houses every week, the same week, same house every week until the house sells. Now that was a little more challenging the past couple of years, but today with things lasting 3-4 months on the market, you can do that again. We'll be going over the open house programs that I have during that class on the 17th. But things you can do is open houses so people see you there, you're visible. Door knocking. Right? If you're doing an open house, go door knocking and say, hey, I'm doing an open house on Saturday from 10 to 2. I'm going to do a special open house for the neighborhood from 9 to 10. Right? Create a social media page. Right? There's very few social media pages for neighborhoods. So create one. And then go find all those people on social media and invite them to the social media page. Buy a domain name. I used to own, and I let them all up, so they're all out there right now. I used to own about 1,000 local domain names, and most of them were neighborhoods. So if you can't get the domain names to local neighborhood, for instance, I used to do Casabella over here. Where am I? I'm in Cocoa Beach. In Suntree. I get confused sometimes. So Casabella.com was not available, so I did CasabellaMelbourne.com. Right? So I owned that and built a website on that. These keep you in touch with the neighborhood. This is all about owning the neighborhood. Walk your neighborhood. Walk around with the kids. Walk around. If you don't have kids, rent one. If you have a dog or a cat. I saw a person walking a cat the other day. Anybody remember the Cocoa Beach guy that used to walk his tortoise? Right? You know, yeah, there's a guy who's walked this. The tortoise is still alive. The guy passed away, but the tortoise is still alive. If there's an HOA, right? This is really important. If there's an HOA, ask them about renting out the clubhouse. And then every quarter do an event. And don't do real estate events. Nobody cares about us. Do financial events, and you can do one real estate event. Jack used to do a Super Bowl party, a summer barbecue, usually a real estate event, and then a travel or finance event during those quarters. This is one of my favorite things. So every once in a while, you know those neighborhoods where the husband has passed away, and then the house needs a paint job or something like that. And he had done 2 at this point when I talked to him. One of his postcards he would send out would be, hey, Mrs. Jones's house needs a paint job. I'm looking for volunteers. He said the first time you get 10 volunteers, the second time you got 15 volunteers, they painted her house on the weekend. He paid for the paint. So it cost him like $500. But cool, think about that as a person that lives in that neighborhood, that Mitch, the realtor, is doing all this stuff to help. If the HOA has an entranceway with flowers, this way he said he would sit there every weekend and redoing every flower he planted the weekend before. He'd take out and replant a whole new set of flowers, and people would drive by, like wave like he's in a parade. And all these things accumulated into 50 listings in 2 years. Now, I haven't talked to him since then. This is 2003. We didn't even talk about buyers, but in 2 years he was able to get 50 listings. What does he have now in 20 years? Right? If he was a neighborhood realtor in 2 years, what has he built over 20 years? Again, marketing equals consistency equals sales. If you learn nothing from me, right on time. If you learn nothing from me, learn this. Because nobody's consistent in this business, and it drives me crazy. And then they come and say, well, they didn't do this for me, or my broker didn't do this for me, or I can't own the neighborhood because somebody else owns the neighborhood. That's all crap. How many of you get postcards from realtors to your house? How many get them every other week? Nobody does it. I mean, nobody. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 people that does it. How do you stand out from the crowd? Just be different. All right, so that's my contact info right down if you need to get a hold of me. And I don't think we're going to take a break yet because it's only been 35 minutes. Yes, Jen?
So question, so we're talking about postcards. So you're specifically doing a market update and like top 10 things. So you're creating the postcard. I mean, would you suggest doing maybe services that would do it for you versus creating the postcard and having to actually mail it yourself? Yeah,
so there's several companies out there. And I always created them myself when I did stuff like this. But there's several companies out there. Somebody using one out there? Oh, yeah. So the question is, the services that do this stuff, do you recommend using one of the services that do this versus making it up yourself? Sure. I know my buddy Matt Battiati in California, San Diego, uses a service, and his is about $1.25 a piece. But it's a 4-page, beautiful brochure that goes out to all these homes, and he does that one, and then he does the things to do twice a month. So the things to do is a little more challenging because that's more local. But market updates, they pull it from the tax rolls, so it's pretty simple. Any other questions? I thought I saw another hand. No. By the way, Ned Maloney's birthday today. Say happy birthday, Ned. Yeah, see? I had to do that. I was going to have everybody sing that, but my voice is cracking and I don't want to sing. And you've heard me sing before. That's why we're not friends anymore. But, there we go. All right. I'm going to bring you guys up now. Is that okay? Yeah. So anyway, so Dan and Tanner in Oviedo, and they literally practice what I preach, and they own their neighborhoods tremendously. So they're going to talk to you after she throws things around on how they've owned their neighborhood and sold over 50 homes in the neighborhood so far, right? Something like that. So welcome Dan and Tanin Testin.
Are we taking a break or not?
No, we're going to hold it. We'll take one halfway through this.
Well, thank you, Mitch. And I'm going to let Dan start, but this is exciting. I love listening to how other people do their business because there's a lot that we do the same and a little bit that we do different, but I'm excited to share it with you. And I'm going to have Dan start us up. Well, I guess you want to wait until the slides are, or you want to go ahead?
We can start now. So yeah, Tanin and I, let's give you a little bit of background on us. A couple of quick things for housekeeping wise is thanking all the sponsors once again. We're going to talk a lot about like resources, and I love that you've got these great people here. So one of the things that I do a lot in my community is just being that natural. Somebody need an insurance guy. Everybody's got insurance issues. They need an inspector. You got a storm just came through. Having these sponsors and having them in your back pocket as far as to share within your community or within your sphere is going to be huge to you. And thanks to Mitch and Pat too for bringing us out. You guys always have your finger on the pulse as far as real estate and the real estate community, and always keeping us up to date. So definitely want to thank you guys for having us. We got a lot to cover, so I'm glad all of y'all came out today. I think with the NAR settlement stuff that's coming out, ultimately a majority of what we're going to talk about is getting listings. So I think that everybody wants to have more listings moving forward. So tap it into your community is going to be a huge one. So I'm glad all of y'all came out to learn a little bit more. Tan and I, we live in a large community in East Orange County, which is 1,268 homes. Little by little over time, we did a lot of sales and ultimately became the #1 sales agent in our community, which then translated the #1 sales in East Orange County, just as easy. So today we're going to learn a little bit about how we became the neighborhood specialist, a little bit about how we get our community's information so that we can kind of keep up in front and touch base with them on a regular, and also the analytics behind how we keep track and make sure we know what's working and so forth. A little bit about Tanin and I. Was born and raised in Oviedo, second generation of the area, started in real estate in 2008. I came from a site services company I owned for 8 years, mostly dump trucks, site development. We cleared land, built neighborhoods. So I took a lot of that knowledge and I took it with me to the real estate side, which it helps in the sales, just knowing a little bit more about the growth of the area and ultimately materials and used as well. Tanin moved here in 2003 and was licensed in 2016, which she joined up with me. She comes from 17 years in the title business, so she has a wealth of knowledge that she took with her to bring with us into the sales aspect of it. And we have not looked back since. So now we've been in, together 7, 8 years now together as far as in the real estate and becoming a real estate team. We cover a large area of East Orange. Is this the same slide? We cover a large part of Central Florida in general. We live so close to the east side of Orlando that we'll come out to this side, the Melbourne, to New Smyrna, going towards Daytona. For us, it's 30, 45 minutes, but at the same time, we'll go to the far side of Disney as well. But the #1 thing we like the most is we like to sell homes right in our backyard. What's better than to drive 20 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever? You got an inspection, an appraisal, a second visit. These things all take a lot of time out of your day to drive an hour across town. So years ago when I got in the business, when I was starting out, that's what I did. I took any lead that I could, took any lead, it didn't matter where it was at. So I was in New Smyrna one day, I was in DeLand the next, Point Siena, I heard somebody bring up earlier, which if you guys know, that's like in the armpit of Central Florida. It's way, way out there with no real direct pathway to get there. But I learned, a lot in that process. But the #1 thing I learned was I wanted to figure out how to sell the homes, right there in our own backyard. Sorry, I'm gonna get back to my notes here.
So I'll jump in. So one of the things that we talked about, know, like, and trust. People like to do business with who they know, like, and trust or stay in front of. And I heard from a woman a few years ago. I went to saw her speak, and she talked about you don't have to know, like, and trust someone to work with them, right? How many of you seen a neighborhood sign go up, something for sale in your neighborhood, and it was like a punch in the gut? You didn't even get an opportunity to go on a listing appointment there. And it's a neighbor you knew, right? We've all had that happen, and it sucks. We've had it happen as well. We've got 5 agents who live on our block alone, so there's lots of agents in our neighborhood, and there's thousands of agents that aren't there. So when we see that happen, we're like, God, did they not like me? They know me. I live right around the corner from them. They don't trust me. So here's the thing. They don't have to know, like, and trust you. They just have to know you. They have to know this is what you do because you're constantly reminding them. You're sending them postcards. You're staying in front of them. You're reminding them all the time of what you do, right? That's #1. They're going to trust you, and I'm going to tell you how you can get them to trust you. Even if you've never had a transaction before in your neighborhood, they've never had a transaction with you, period. They don't even know that you sell real estate. You're going to show them how you're a realtor and why they should trust you. We'll give you those tools. Now, whether or not they like you, I mean, that's on you. You're going to have to get them to like you. Maybe Mitch and Pat, everybody loves them. They can do a whole class on how to get people to like you. So we'll share with you the tools, not only how to know, like, and trust, but we're going to show you how to track and make sure what you're doing works, right? Because not everybody's got a big budget. Not everybody's got thousands of dollars to spend on postcards and marketing. I'm going to be 100% honest. I joined Dan when, like you said, 2016. Coming from title, all of my 100% of my contacts, realtors and lenders. You know how hard it is to try to sell to a realtor and a lender and get some business? I was starting from scratch. I lived here 15, 16 years. I was starting from scratch. Dan's got contacts. He had business people. I can't ride on those coattails. I got to bring some, if I'm going to go 100%, I better bring some business in that door. So those first few years were critical, building up my business, building up my contacts, building up that database. So what I did was I went out and met people. And Dan's going to share with you everything that we did to go out and meet people. I joined every group that was out there, every PTA, every opportunity, every bunco club, book club, wine club. If it was there, I was a part of it. I was at the forefront. I was walking groups. And if there was not a group, I was starting a group, because that's how you got to get out and meet people. I had $0 to mail postcards. We didn't mail postcards for 3 years. Man, I wish I would have done that. I wish I had the money. I wish I could have done a postcard 8 weeks in a row, twice a month. We could have skyrocketed our business from day one if we had that opportunity. If we had known then what we know now, what a difference that would make. So it took us a little bit longer. But that first year, we did 2 transactions, and we were excited. When you go from 0 to finally getting a transaction in your neighborhood, you're like, here we go, here we go. We're going to become the neighborhood experts, right? 2 transactions. The next year, we did 4. Then it was 8. This year, we've got 6 listings by March. We've got 3 more that are coming as soon as the sellers' houses are ready. And on top of that, we've got referrals from people in our neighborhood that have never even used us before, because they trust us. They know us. They trust us. They're referring people to us, and we've never had a transaction with them. How do we do it? So Dan's going to share with you the number 1 step: get to know your neighbors.
She's hitting all the right points, and that's definitely the thing. So Mitch's on the postcards absolutely was correct, but a lot of what we're going to teach is ultimately was for free. It's just your time. You know, one of the things that I've always told all of our new agents that come on board, or people that are looking to grow, is that, you know, Mitch doing the postcards, or anybody really that's got their finger on it as far as the pulse, if you've got the money and the marketing, you can always spend it that way. But a lot of what we're doing is just, it's for free. It's just time. And if at my production level, if I'm out there going, I'm doing open houses, if we're door knocking or whatever the case may be, if we're putting in that kind of time, then obviously you should be doing just as much time as that or more. One of the things that I started out, Tana talked about, she was on the PTA, she's got her notary license as well. Those are 2 things. You know, obviously you'd like to make a little money with that notary license, but offering a service for free just gets you in front of more people. Just a matter of like, hey, people in our community, like Mitch said earlier, if you don't have a Facebook page, create one, or create one for your little neck of the woods or your county, or label it, you know, whatever the case, whatever you want to label it as far as for your centralized area, but, you know, create one and invite everybody to come to that page. Be in the resource that every time somebody thinks of something, regardless if it's real estate or not, they think of calling you. So, a little backstory on me. When I first started this whole process with Tanin, I'm an old Florida boy. I'm a 2nd generation, like I just said. But every time, that, you know, huge community, if a snake got in the pool or a turtle's crossing the road, I would just tag my name in it and go help them out overall. Those things don't bother me, so I'd pick up a snake or pick up a turtle and get it out of the way. Little by little, this segued into every time somebody else had one, they would automatically tag me. And little by little, it kind of became like this spot that I did. Then it became, what was it? AC started to get clogged up. You know, this time of year, you're going to see a lot of that. Everybody's AC starts to clog up. I got a shot vac because ours clogged up. I took that shot vac, and then I just kind of, every time somebody chimed in, hey, my system's froze over, I'd say, hey, I'll run over and suck it out, you know, do the little wet vac for you real quick. And I caught that. We get it freed up. And then everybody thanks you afterwards on the Facebook page, and you start to become this resource more and more that every time somebody needs something, regardless if it's real estate or not, then they're going to think of you. One of the great things that we do too, especially in our community, and everybody's going to know this, that nobody's following your open house signs to the house. That's not what they're there for. Those are branding pieces overall. You know, they're going to have a GPS. They're going to know how to get to your open house listing in general. But having those directional signs, we got about 50. We typically put about 30 of those directional signs out all through our community. So if you have Mitch's stuff as far as doing postcards, we're being tagged on Facebook and social media as far as helping the community out here and there. And then ultimately you see these open house signs all throughout the community. Every time somebody thinks about buying or selling real estate, they're going to think of Tanin and I, and that's what the ultimate goal is, to try to get to that. Am I on par so far? A couple more pieces of this, just kind of toggle it up, because there's so much to this, to be honest with you, and it can really go on and on. So beyond those boards, I ended up going and being part of what's called the ARC, if you're not familiar, the Architectural Review Committee, just helping out people with paint schemes, color designs, or whatever. It's just all, just making sure they're following the rules of our community. That led into a board position, and then now I've been the president of my HOA for the last 4 or more years. And it's not so much that it translates to business, but it just people keep seeing your name getting brought up over and over, and eventually they find out, oh, you're in real estate too. I'm thinking of buying or selling a home. I've been renting for the last 10 plus years in the community. I'm ready to buy a home. Once again, they think of us. Talking to neighbors, obviously it's a relationship business. I know this has been touched on a lot, but you got to have conversations. You got to put yourself in a place that has conversations. If you have a community event, you got to get down in the community event. Make sure you're wearing your name tag or your shirt with the EXP or your ball cap, making sure everybody knows what it is that you do, and talk to them. Hey, how you doing? How's things going? How's your house going along? Get to know those people up close and personal as well, as far as attending functions and meetings. Are we on to the next slide?
All right. So Dan hit on a lot of good things, and there's a pattern to it. So when you're involving yourself in the community, the pattern must be you need to be present. People need to be able to know who you are. They're going to see you there. And you're going to set yourself up in a role where they can rely and depend on you, and you can build that trust. So whether you've never done a real estate transaction with anybody in your community before, they know they can rely and trust on you. If they can rely and trust on you on this, when you remind them that you're a realtor, you can show them, hey, I'm reliable and trustworthy in what I do for a job, and I'm good at it. So set yourself up for that success. Show them who you are and that they can trust you in that. Knowledge equals trust. This is real estate 101 for your community. I know Mitch talked about picking a community that has certain criteria, fits the numbers, right? I'm really big and bullish on setting up your farm within a 1 to 2 mile radius of where you at or where you live. Nobody knows that better than you. Not only that, but those are the people that you're going to see out and about. Those are the people at your grocery store. When they get your mailers, they're going to see you at the grocery store. They're going to put those two faces together. They're going to see you at your kid's school. They're going to see you at those community events. Pick the place that's within easy distance to you so that you can run into them multiple times, right? When I talk about knowledge equals trust, when they see you out, they're getting your mailers, they're going to talk to you about real estate. You know what sucks is when you meet someone out and about and they ask you about a house in the neighborhood that's for sale, and you don't have any idea because you haven't looked it up, you haven't been there, you didn't even know it went for sale. So Real Estate 101, get yourself up on a search in your neighborhood, know every pending, active, and sold property, and you don't have to memorize the details, but get the gist of it. Know when it comes into your inbox, you're like, oh, Ospreywood Circle just came on the market. Okay, I'm going to check that one out later. So when somebody brings it up to you, because they always do, they always ask you about that house that's for sale. Oh, did you see that house that's for sale? At least you can answer it with a little bit of information or be like, oh, I saw that one come in my inbox. I was going to check that out later. What'd you think of it? Start a conversation. Don't act like you don't know anything about it, because you don't want to seem like they know more about what's going on in the real estate world in your community than you do. So 101, get yourself set up on a search. Attend open houses. Be there, see them. Be familiar with the homes. Preview vacant homes. Obviously, you don't want to put a seller out, make them leave so you can go preview homes just because it's part of what your business is. But I will say, if there's ever a home that you feel like the condition and pricing is not where it should be, check out that house. There could be something wrong with it. If you've got a listing coming up in the neighborhood and that house is directly going to affect the value of your house and it's priced wrong, why? Go there, take pictures, take videos, find out. We've gone into a house that had extreme water damage along one of the walls. They're not going to highlight that in the picture. You're not going to know that unless you go there, you check it out, you take the videos. Now we've got documentation. When our home comes up for appraisal, we're prepared. And we tell that on listing appointments. We're doing this. We're doing the homework that other agents aren't out there doing. We're going to know these homes better than anybody else. And we're prepared to do that. Know the market in not only your area, your 1 to 2 miles, the surrounding area you need to know, because not everybody just stays right in this one little section, right? People search other places. You need to be able to share that with your community. Hey, this is where we are, but our neighbors over here, this is what they're doing. This is how their homes are appreciating. Know the businesses in the area and the development in the area, and that's going to come in later on. So we're going to stick a pin in that. But if you see any kind of development going on, you see land clearing, you see the flags go up, take a screenshot of where you are on the map, email that to yourself, send that to yourself, look it up later, pull the permits and find out what's going on, what's being built. That's going to help you become that neighborhood expert, because I guarantee you on those Facebook groups, people are going to ask, hey, do y'all see what's going on over there? What's being built? I wonder what it is. Is it another car wash? Now you got the intel. If you see a sign go up, for sale sign, or you see new construction being built, call the numbers. Find out what it is. Be that resource. Did I lose my thing? Oh. All right, so we're going to talk about the core four. Postcards, big part of it. Mail-outs, yes. Absolutely, stay in front of people over and over and over again, and we do it 4 different ways. One, we're going to go face-to-face. How many of you get more listings and more buyers secured by meeting them face-to-face, right? You're never going to send them a CMA. Well, actually, I take that back. I send people CMAs all the time. But you are more successful getting that face-to-face than you are anything else. So be there, be out there, meeting people. And I'll tell you what, when Dan and I go out and we're doing our events within the community, or we're out shaking hands, meeting people, we don't look like this. I'll tell you, this is the first time I put on something fancy all year. I'm in jeans, I'm in a t-shirt, I've got my hair pulled back, sometimes in a baseball cap. I am how you're going to see me all the time, right? Because that's how people know me. Our marketing, however, same marketing. We always put, they're going to see consistent marketing over and over again, but when we're out there meeting people, they're going to see the real, the us, the comfortable us. So, starting off with that face-to-face, right, that's great. But how do you follow up with them? How do you make sure you stay in front of them? One way, postcards. Another way is gathering their contact information so you can stay in front of them via email as well. Now I'm going to tell you what, take a cue from your sponsors in the back. They do a fantastic job of gathering our information, right? They make it fun. Spinning wheels, roulettes, winning prizes. Success leaves clues. So when you see stuff like that, and that looks fun, that looks like something you would want to put your card into, take that clue and put it into your own events that you see in the communities. We sponsor a lot of events. We get tables. I see other agents here from my neighborhood that do the same thing. They pay a little bit of money so that they can have their table or their little booth and then gather people's information. And it doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have a roulette table at home? It's okay. I don't either. But you can still host a raffle. Get a raffle. Keep it simple. This is our last one we did. Candy corn in a jar. It cost us a couple bucks and then a $50 gift card. But if you see that little glass bowl that was right up there, lots of names in that glass bowl, right? It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be fancy. It can be very simple. Oh. Here, Dan, will you try to figure that out? Oh, I got it. All right. One of the things we just did actually this past weekend was our big shred event in the community. So shredding event, everybody loves it. When they come through, everybody's like, when's your next one going to be? Oh my God, I get so much paper, so much junk mail. I said, you sign up right here and I will tell you when our next one is, right? They'll gladly, every single person signed up for that. They want to know. Second thing that you can do to get people's contact information, have them RSVP for an event.
One of our last listings was from our shred event from the previous year that we just closed.
Oh,
on.
really?
Yeah, so that gives you, success in the clues for sure that, yeah, it all works.
So have people sign up. You got community garage sales? Maybe you don't. Maybe you need to start one up. Get a list going. Gather their contacts. Sign up Genius. It's for free. This is $0. You can get people to sign up for things. Potluck dinners, volunteering, cleanups, whatever you're going to gather a group for, have them sign up through Sign Up Genius. Now you got all their contact information. If you're going to sponsor at an event, you're going to sponsor pictures, photography, have them sign up and you're going to send them pictures. Oh, I'll share the story in a little bit. I'm going to pin in that one too. QR codes, you see everybody's using them. Man, brilliant, right? Make it easy for people. If there's one good thing that came out of 2020, QR codes are easy and everybody knows how to use them. Not only that, but you can track it. You can track and see who's scanning QR code. You can track how many times it's been scanned, right? Which is important. So every mail out that we send out has a QR code on it, and I'm directing them back to our website every time. Right now, I'm really big on building our website presence and our Google. I'm hoping to come back here in a year and talk to you all about Google, because I'm going hard on that. Just got our first Google lead, so I'm pretty excited. But I'm directing everybody. All my postcards have a QR code, and it's directing them back to something that I want them to see on our website. Oh, speaking of, down below you'll see the new Cypress Lakes frequently asked question. So Mitch talked about building a website, right, for your community. I want people to go to my website because I use our website as like a resume. I want them to come back and be able to see everything about us and keep on there. Not only one, it's teaching them about who we are and that they can trust us, but two, it's building that presence online and hopefully driving more business from around our area to that. I really want that organic business. So I keep driving them back there. And I'll show you when we get to the analytics how important that is. But that was one of our mail-outs we sent out. We said, hey, we didn't start our own Cypress Lakes website. It's part of ours on our Testin team. But if you need to know anything about Cypress Lakes, you go right there. It's going to give you events. It's going to give you the architectural review forums. It's going to give you all the paint schemes you can use. Anything that you need to know, it's there, and it keeps them on there. So the more they're clicking on it, they're staying on our page. We're ranking higher and higher. CRM is another way to get people's information. How do you get in your CRM? Open houses. If you've got the open house app, they log right in. It's already got the hashtag 123 Main Street. Now you know how you got them. They're in your CRM. Facebook ads, which I'll be honest, we don't do. I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but if you're good at that and you want to pour some money into it, do it. It's one way to get it. What's my home's worth? So this one, we get this a lot. We get a lot of people who put their address in, right? They want to know what their home's worth, but they don't want to give you any of their contact information. Has that happened to anybody? They don't put in their phone number, they don't put in their name, they don't put in their email. They just want the answer, right? Well, guess what? I know where you live. I'm going to give you that answer. So I do the CMA. And I go and I knock on their door, because now I have their address and they're right there in my neighborhood. It takes me 5 minutes to drive over. I'm going to give you your CMA. I'm going to hand deliver it to you, and I'm going to answer any questions that you have, even if it's just because you just want to know. Awesome. Good. That's what I'm here for. If you ever want to know, you call us. I'm no pressure. There's no obligation, but I'm here to give you the information. So here we are, providing value, getting face-to-face, and now they got this hard copy of the CMA. And I can follow up, and I'll continue to follow up. We don't do a lot of door knock. I only door knock once in a blue moon. It's going to be one, I'm dropping off a CMA at your house, and I'm going to give it to you. Two, I'm inviting you to an event that we're having, and I personally want, and we'll knock on hundreds of doors, personally inviting people to events. Some people pick up the phone, they do cold calling, they do follow up on things, maybe that's whatever they're following up on Zillow leads or something. We spend about 4 to 5 hours a day working on our community. Sometimes it's door knocking and inviting them to an event. And that's considered, our lead generation. That's what we do. Our website, as I mentioned before, we direct people to our website. We've got to sign up right on our website. They can sign up if they want to learn about any kind of news and events, construction updates, school updates.
Testinteam.com, I think is where you can see that if you want to look at it.
But yeah, we make it easy for them. Go right there. You want to learn more about what's going on? We're going to send you monthly updates. And the last thing down below, you see the question mark? Ask people. Ask them if you can get them on a monthly email blast so you can provide them information. Don't be scared. What's the worst they're going to tell you? No? We're used to that. We're realtors. We got thick skin. We hear no all the time.
The answer is always no if you don't ask, as we always say. The answer is always no if you don't ask.
So let's talk about what we give to them, right? What kind of information? Mitch touched on it a little bit. I'm going to do a little deeper dive. I want to provide them information that keeps them engaged, right? When we do our postcards, and actually I don't do a postcard anymore. We've upgraded to the 8.5 by 11. We're always going to include at least one thing that's either going to make them money, it's going to save them money, or it's going to make something easier for them. So I've got a list, but I'm curious. What's something that can make somebody money? Any ideas?
Selling their junk.
Yeah. Home updates. Hold on, I got a whole list here somewhere. Oh, school grades. Talk about your schools. Share that with them. Hey, the new FDOE school grades came out. You know why that's important? Because home values go up. People shop for schools when they're shopping for homes, right? Share that information. You can share new businesses. Maybe you got a big Amazon distribution center coming. What's that going to do? Bring jobs to the area. That's going to increase home values. You can do real estate related things. What to negotiate on a contract. And a lot of these things, we've got a ghostwriter for a blog. I know what I'm good at, what I'm not. I'm not good at writing blogs. So I hire someone, pretty cheap, but she does a phenomenal job, and she updates our content every week. So sometimes I just go to my blog center, and I'll tell you what, go to my blog center. Take a look, get ideas. She does a great job. We sit down every quarter and think about what are things that are going to make people money, what's going to save them money, what's going to make things easier. And I'll pick something from my blog, and I'm going to set a QR code with it, directing them back to the website so they can finish reading that blog. And that's what I share with them. And then also on our mailouts, we have a little bit of what's sold, what are our current listings, what are we selling. And I used to do a lot of our neighborhood. I used to just put the homes in our neighborhood because I wanted to show them how dominant we are, that we know this neighborhood really well. Well, that backfired because then they started saying, well, we were going to use you guys, but we didn't know if you'd go over there. No, we go everywhere. So now I put everything. I put everywhere, all of our listings, all of our sales. I'll do a little sidebar with that information. Once a quarter, I do a market update, sharing with them, hey, I know real estate too. I know what's going on in the area. So we cover all three of those bases. And granted, again, ours is on 8.5 by 11, so we got a little bit more space, but pick and choose, right? If you're doing twice a month postcards, you could do one about what's something that's going to save you money. The next one could be your market update. Could be your just listed, just sold. Things that make it easier for them. Tips on buying and selling. I did one on what are the best hedges to plant that grow the fastest in Florida. Where can they find things? I got a whole list. I'll share the list with Mitch. If he wants to share it, you can reach out to Mitch and he can share that with you. So we talked about purposely staying in front of people face to face, through the email. Did I touch on email? All right, so I'm going to touch on email because that's one of my favorites too. It's easy, it's passive, right? I don't have to deal with rejection unless they unsubscribe. So emails, I use Constant Contact for that, and I like it because we'll go right into our analytics as well. And actually with our emails to our neighborhood, oh, you know what? Maybe it didn't show it. So the emails I send to our neighborhood, 100% neighborhood related. I don't send any real estate tips. I don't send any anything. My postcards are all going to be real estate related. It's like a business thing. My emails are going to be fun, community events, things to look forward to. You know why? Because people are quicker to delete an email than I think they are to throw something away. And I don't want them to delete my email, and I don't want them to unsubscribe. I want them to keep getting them. I want them to look forward to them. So I'll ask people too. I'll ask every year, I ask, what do you want to see in your emails? What do you want to know about the neighborhood? What should I share with you? And I give them some samples. You want to know about events? You want to know about businesses? You want to know about real estate? I throw that in there just in case somebody does. Nobody ever does. Nobody wants to know about real estate. Never, ever, ever. They don't want to know what homes go for sale. They just want to know the fun stuff, right? So I share the fun stuff. Let me see if I've got, it's not on there. So I thought I had my email up there, but my email, big shred event. Here's the information. Big garage sales coming up. Big designer bag bingo, May 2nd. Sign up here. Get your tickets on the 15th. Big. Fun. And then at the bottom, you got Dan and Tanin, standard photo that goes on all our marketing, and you got our featured listing, and you got search for homes, what my home's worth. Very fine, very little at the bottom, because I still want to throw it in there. I want them to remind them that I'm a realtor. So I throw it in there, and I love the analytics, which we're going to get into, because here's the thing. Whether you have a lot of money or a lot of time, little money, little time, you don't want to waste any time. You don't want to waste any money. You got to make sure what you're doing is working and it's going to have a return. So I love looking at analytics. And if it doesn't have an opportunity for me to look at if it's working, I'm not going to do it because it's going to be either a waste of my time or a waste of my money. You could do events all year long. You could be at every event out there. But if you're not following up and tracking that that's working, that's a waste of your time. You could be sending out a postcard every week for 52 weeks. How do you know it's working if you're not tracking it? Could be a waste of your money. You got to be able to track these things. That's why I do the flow codes. That's why I do the tracking it back. Is it going back to my website? Are they going back there when I send that out? So my emails, if I could pull up my constant contact, I show you, I love it. Not only does it look prettier, right, than a regular email, but I can track and I can see exactly who's clicking on it, how many times are they opening it, how often do they go back. Some people, they go back 7 times. I'm like, dang, they really like this newsletter. They've opened it 7 times today. And it gives me heat spots. It tells me, big picture, little heat spot, hardly anybody's clicking there. No heat spot, nobody's clicking on it. Every newsletter I send out to our neighborhood where no one wants to hear about real estate, the #1 thing they click on are our featured listings and searching for homes, or what's my home worth. But every poll, I guarantee you, every poll I put out asking them what do you want to hear about, not one person will click on real estate. It's like they're scared. But so we'll do it. And then I'll ask, so one other thing I put in my emails is I share with them all the different Facebook groups, all the different online places to go and find out information on our community, whether it's the schools, the babysitters group page, the garage sale page, the dog park page, Bunko Wine Club. We all got groups on Facebook, and I put them all out there. So here's the information. You go find these groups. It's amazing to live in Cypress Lakes. Look at all of our groups we got here. And I would look at where are people clicking? What are they interested in? Far and beyond any other group out there, the dog park page. People love their dogs. It would blow it out of the water, everything up, blow it out of the water. I'm not even kidding you. I'm like, yeah, people love their dogs here. So at the time, Dan and I didn't have a dog, but he was working on the board, and one of their projects that they were working on was building a new dog park. Bigger and better dog park, trees, new fences, fun stuff, right? I said, we're going to have a dog park party. We're going to have a ribbon cutting. We're going to invite everybody. We're going to invite the dog owners, and we're going to make this fun. And we did. We didn't have a dog, but we said, hey, that's what they want. So that's what we did. We had a huge dog party. We sponsored the pictures because it was right before Christmas. We set up a backdrop with poinsettias and decorated all festive. And we said, we're going to hire a photographer. They're going to take pictures of your pet, and you can use them for Christmas cards if y'all want. So now they signed up to get pictures of their dog We got their phone number, their email, their address, because we had the pictures printed and we mailed them to their house. So we've got everything. And they got a picture that will always remind them of the Testin team putting together this dog party and how much fun it was. We had businesses, we contacted businesses all over that had anything to do with dogs. They brought treat bags, they had
Mobile groomer, we had a mobile groomer there as well.
mobile groomer. There were so many people that were there. Every dog went home with like a little party bag. It was very cute. But, so here's the thing. Opportunities leave clues. You have to be able to track those clues, find out what do people want, that's what you're going to give to them. I might be getting off track here. I should have held my notes. All right, so let's go into analytics. So that's part of it, right? Email. If you don't have that, find something that works, and that's cheap. I think we pay $80 a month, and we can stay in front of people. I don't spam them. I'm honest. I said I'm going to send you one email a month, and it's going to be fun stuff. Hopefully you open it. So the average, I wrote this down somewhere too, the average open rate for real estate was something like 36%, and the click rate is 1.4%. Our average open rate for our neighborhood, when I send those out, anywhere from 50 to 60%. People are opening it, and we only get unsubscribers when they move. That's pretty dang good. All right, so this is our Google. This is where I get excited again. So I talk about driving people back to our Testin team website. This is just recently. This was my goal for 2024. I said I want to do good in Google business. I went to a regional rally last year in Texas, and the guy who was talking about Google and his Google business. They do $12 million a year from Google business. I said, oh, I want to do that. Like, I want people just calling me, right? I don't want to knock on doors. I don't want to hound people for business. I want them finding me online, calling me and saying, I want to do business with you. So that was my goal. I said, I'm going to start directing everybody to our website. They're all going to go back there. Whether you're looking for Cypress Lakes or anything else, you're going to go back to my website. So as you can see, those big jumps there, guess what that is? Those are our postcards going out, directing them back to our website. Every time we do an email, I can track and see, okay, what date did that email go out? What does our website look like? What date did our postcard go out? What does it look like? Over to the right, you can't really see it, but I can't even see it. Featured listings is up there. Cypress Lakes FAQ is the second from the bottom, and then blog is the very bottom. But they're getting hundreds of hits from people who I'm telling them go back there and look. And I look at this stuff almost daily. I'm always looking at like, oh, who's looking online? How many numbers are we up to? It's like Facebook likes, right? Like how many people are liking my picture? Which social media, I don't track that at all. I don't track how many people like. I don't pay for Facebook, but I love it. I love it, hate it, right? Love and hate. Hate what it does, but I love the opportunity that this is free advertising that we do. So when we go on social media and we're on our community's Facebook pages, we're going to post updates on the businesses, right? Businesses that are breaking ground, businesses that pulled permits nearby. We're sharing information that we think is valuable. We share information that's fun. And we do at least one video content every month. But we make it something that they want to see. We did do our shred event. We did a live video showing our shred event. We've done videos where I'm hiding painted rocks in the neighborhood. And I'm sharing with everybody, hey, find these painted rocks in the neighborhood. I'm riding my bike around with my kids, and that's my video. We dressed up as the Easter Bunny one year, rode around the golf cart. When this was a COVID year, when we couldn't have an Easter event. That was our video, us driving around the neighborhood on the golf cart. So while I can't really track the likes, the analytics for social media, I know it works because when we're doing those videos, we're in our regular clothes, little no makeup, Dan's in flip-flops and t-shirt and shorts, and people recognize us out and about and they tell us, oh my God, we see you on Facebook. And when you hear that enough times, you're like, okay, this is working. I may not have supportive analytics for it, but you hear it enough that you know you got to continue to do it. You got to stay in front of people. It is free. And I love that word. What's my last thing that I do? Mail outs? Okay, so we talked about that with that. The last thing that I want to talk about, actually, if we've got time, I've got a couple more, but the big thing I want to hit on too, and Mitch had said it earlier, if you've got somebody in your neighborhood who's already kind of, hey, they've been there for a while, and you're like, well, can't really get in there. They got a good hold on it, right? Nobody owns a neighborhood. And I even tell agents in my neighborhood, I got 2 of them here. I hope they go home and do this. Because nobody owns a neighborhood. We don't own 100% of the listings. We've got a good chunk. We don't own 100%. And if it's not going to be us, I hope it is you two. I hope you're getting that. I hope that's my competition and you guys get those listings. Because it needs to be somebody in the neighborhood, not somebody outside of my neighborhood, number 1. Number 2, I like you guys, so hopefully I can work with you. But here's the thing. We had a realtor in our neighborhood, and she was the builder's realtor. So when it was being built and developed, she was there selling the homes, and she had a good hold, right? She had everybody's, she didn't have to do, she had everybody's contact information. Easy. And she's good. It'd be hard if I hated her, but I don't. I like her. She's a great realtor. She did a good job. She did fantastic follow-up with everybody. But she had a strong hold on that neighborhood, and we kind of felt like, well, we can't really get in there. She's already there. Nobody's got a strong hold. So little by little, we got excited for our first 2 and kept that ball rolling. Now, I don't think she does any listings in our neighborhood. She was doing 18 to 20 a year, minimum.
And the biggest thing was that she didn't live in our community either, so you had her finger on the community as far as being hers, but she did not live in there as we do. Everybody wants to sell those houses in your backyard.
So my biggest aha, and this is why I got to look back at my notes, because this was an aha moment for us, right? We're like, why are they using her? She doesn't even live here. Why are they using them? They didn't even give us the opportunity. We switched our thinking. I had an aha moment. I said, what if it's not, why aren't they using us? We deserve it, right? It's what are we doing for them? What are we doing for our community that we should be getting these listings? Why us? That was an aha moment. And I'll tell you there's 2 things I firmly believe. Firmly believe. And I know realtors have, I don't know what you call it when people don't trust you. Lawyers, car salesmen, realtors. Yes. Here's 2 things I firmly believe. 1, we have 2 obligations. The first one, we owe to our customers to help them build wealth and equity through owning properties. 100% we owe that to our customers. Number 2, we owe to our communities to make them a better place to live by pouring into them. Is it this? This? I'm done with it anyways. So, if you learn anything, I hope you go out and you pour into your communities, because I promise you, if you pour into it, you follow up, you track what you're doing, you do your postcards, it will come back, and it will come back big, and it will keep that ball rolling. And people know, right? They know if they're being sold to. They know if you're authentic or not. They know if you show up and you're wearing your shirt with your logo on it and your hat and your logo on it, and you're trying to do a video about the dog park, and they're like, come on, really? We know what you're doing. Nobody wants to see that. Be authentic. Care. So I was going to share, do we have time, Mitch, to share a couple things? Okay, I was going to share my 3 favorite events. 1, the shred event, because everybody signs up, right? You got to get their contact information. And people, when they start cleaning house, they start purging. That's leading to something, right? People who purge and start cleaning, maybe they're going to be moving. Good conversation starter. We actually were at our shred event, and a lady pulls through, and she said, yeah, I'm cleaning my house. She said, I actually have a listing appointment with you guys at 2:30 today. I said, oh my God, we do. Here she was, cleaning her house. So we got a chance to meet her. So that's one of my favorites, and it's one that people look forward to, right? Plus, hey, they start cleaning out mom and dad's house. Where's mom and dad going? You need a realtor. It's a good conversation starter. My second favorite event, I forgot what it is. I got so many. No, I hate garage sales. Hate them.
Nobody wants your junk.
What? Yeah, but I hate doing that too. I do it because it's good for the neighborhood. I hand out for the garage sale, I make a list of all the homes. So my other favorite event, and this one, I did not get one contact name. I did not let anybody know I was in real estate. It had nothing to do with the Testin team, and it by far was the most rewarding event I have ever done in the 10 plus years we've lived in our community. The elementary school reached out to me this year and they said, hey, our National Honor Society wants to do an event with our seniors in the neighborhood. We typically go to assisted living and we do a little luncheon for them. We talk with the seniors, and they said, this year we want to do it in the community. Can you help us? I said, 100%. I said, I'll help you. So Dan and I, we'd already done our budget for our marketing. We didn't have a lot left over, but I said, I'll get some postcards printed. We went door to door and delivered invitations for this senior event, and we filled the house. We filled the clubhouse. And I sat in the back. All I did was got the food catered. We brought it in. I set it up, and then we just stood in the back and let the kids and the seniors do their thing. Kids left. The seniors stayed for about 2.5 hours afterwards, just talking and hanging out. And I didn't want them to leave. They were so happy to have gotten out of their house, meet other people who were like them. And I almost started crying. It was so sweet. And it wasn't for real estate. We didn't talk about real estate. We hardly talked to anybody, to be quite honest. I just filled coffee cups the entire time. But it was the most rewarding event, and it is by far the #1 event. When I see those people out and about in the neighborhood, they thank me over and over again. Over and over again. They were so thankful. It was amazing. So that's one of my favorite events. And to touch on the notary thing, that's my other favorite thing to do. So I do that for free, like Dan said, but I ask people to make a donation to our schools because they're always like, oh, what can I pay you? Can I pay you something? I said, you know what, make it a donation to our middle school PTA. They're always struggling to fundraise. That's the reward. And I always go to them. If they find me on Facebook, I say, text me your address. I got their phone number, I got their address. Now I'm going to their house. I was like, oh, I'll come to you, I'll make it easy. I said, no, I'll come to you, it's okay. Because I want to be in your house. I want to talk to you about your house. I want to talk about your neighbors, where you live, what's going on. Our listing we got last week was somebody I notarized. I walk into his house and he's got boxes. Oh, he likes seeing boxes. We know what that means. So we start talking about, what's all the boxes for? Well, this person's moving out. I can't live in this big house by myself. So here we are a year later. We listed his house, and it's our 6th house this year. So opportunities leave clues. You want to share anything else?
We have a whole list, honestly. We could share. We'll probably give it Mitch and Pat, and then you guys can see it. But honestly, I think that what you're hearing with Tanin talk about her favorite events and my earlier story of as far as like snakes and turtles. Find out what you like. If you're in this community and there's not a lot of young kids, then look at the dog style stuff. I mean, everybody likes the dog. Everybody, just sharing those analytics. I think that's kind of like a no-brainer. I think for our dog one specifically, we got a piece of wood fence panel. It was $100. The brown wood fence. Put some, wreath on it. Put some Christmas decorations on it, and that was the backdrop for the photographer. I mean, it costed $100 total. So you can do these things on a budget. They do not cost that much money. And it goes back to what I said earlier. It's just time. Just take a little bit of time out of your day and run it from there.
I'll tell you one more reason I go door knocking.
Not in our community. Not in our community.
I do. Christmas caroling. Bring it back. People love that. And I meet so many neighbors. I'm a horrible singer. Dan is we've been married 18 years. I've probably sang in front of him 5 times. And it's been karaoke where I should not have sang. But I'll go Christmas caroling and I'll get a group together. We order the lights and I print out the things and we go out. People love it. And they recognize, they're like, oh my God, is that Tanin? I said, oh my God, don't listen. Yes, it's me. But it's fun. Those are the only reasons I'll door knock in my neighborhood. I'm inviting you to something, I'm singing at your house, or I'm dropping off a CMA. So hopefully you all learned at least one thing that you can take away today and put into business. Like Mitch said, it does no good if you're not doing it, if you're not putting it into place. Don't give up. It's going to take a while. It takes at least 6 months, at least. But you just got to get it started. And it's exciting when you get that first one, because you know once you get one, you're going to be able to get 2, you're going to get 3.
If you get that one, blow it out. You know, professional pictures, broadcasted everywhere. We do video walkthroughs and videos on all of our listings, and it just allows you to showcase and just show what you're willing to do that other agents might not be willing to do, and share that with everybody.
So I'd love to hear if anybody has any questions. We're open to questions. We are going to stick around at the happy hour afterwards. So if you want to ask us more about events, I'd be happy to share with that, because that's costly, right? Putting on an event, it costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of time. Work with your sponsors. Your sponsors already said, hey, we'll help you out. Get together with other businesses. Call them and ask them. You might have to call 50 businesses, but between you and everybody else, you can each come up with a little bit of money to put these events on. The events in our neighborhood, it's sponsored through, they take a dollar from everybody's HOA dues, so we get a little bit of help, but we also do fundraising. We do designer bag bingo, which is coming up on May 2nd. We go out, Jessica and I, this is a great opportunity for us to do a video showing us shopping for some purses. Now they get to see us. And guess who's going to be calling out the numbers? Standing at the front, looking at everybody out there. You got to be at the front. You got to be the face of it, right? So these purses, we might spend $1,500 buying these purses, but this event, after paying back for the purses, raises another $1,500. That $1,500 goes towards putting on future events. So now you get to do an event, be that face, have social media, have content, have something to email, make some money. Hey, I'm going to take that money, we're going to put it right back into the community, and we're going to do another event. There you go. Get that ball rolling, right? So many opportunities. I would love to hear from you guys, just so I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. What have you all learned today? Is there any takeaways? Has anybody gotten anything that was like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this into place. Yes, yeah, that's an expense. I would say relatively expensive. So it's about $1,000. We spend about $1,200 on a shredding truck, and he comes for 3 hours. You could probably do it for less. And ours is located in Orlando, but I know he does out here because he had 3 trucks running over in Broward County, where we Brevard. He was in Broward, but I'm sure they're everywhere. But they shred on site. It's a huge truck. They've got their cans out just like a garbage can, and it picks it up, dumps it. People can see their stuff being shredded right in the thing. Yeah, and they. How many people usually get? About 100 people, and everyone will sign up for the next one. And a lot of people miss it, and they're like, "Oh, we're out of town. Gosh, tell me when the next one is."
Let me share a little thing on like the shred, being like being a little bit of money, and some of the other stuff that we do. This was probably 5 years ago or more that Tanin and I kind of looked at our business, and she mostly looked at it, and I was buying into leads before she came on board. I was buying it, Realtor.com and Trulia, Zillow, that kind of stuff. I didn't do so much on those platforms, but I did a lot with Realtor.com. Eventually, the leads just got crappier and crappier quality, and instead of spending that money there, we don't spend any money on leads in any kind of lead source. We spend all of our money doing these things, doing the shred event, doing gift cards. That's the only money that we spend for any kind, and it pays, and it's just way better. Who doesn't? It's easier to have an event, and people are really grateful for it. Fills your cup at the end of the day, but at the same time, you capture their information just as easy, and it's a higher percentage of return.
So another event, and this is a big year for it. It might be a little too late for this year, but keep it on your plate, and it is something to put together. It's Adopt a Precinct, and it's not something I made up for my neighborhood. Somebody else had already started. I just kind of jumped on board. But it's where you make a precinct for your area. You get volunteers to work the polls on poll day, and the county pays you for your time. So it's all volunteer. We get people from the neighborhood to volunteer for this. But election year, big money year, it's like $6,000 that you can make doing these elections. Now, I'll tell you what, it's not fun, it's not glorious, but you get to see everybody who comes in and votes. So I've done it for 6 years, and I've done all the different positions, telling people, slide your ballot here, give me your driver's license, here's your thing. Done it. My favorite is poll deputies. That's where I am now. I'm at the front. I open the door for people, and I get to see everybody that comes through. And I meet them, I ask them questions. I do, what's it called, trivia. While we're standing in line, I'm getting people off their phone, standing there, looking at their phone, look up, let's talk, let's do some U.S. history trivia, and it's fun, right? So I get to see them again. But that, good money maker, $6,000, that's at least 2 big events that you can do that year. But if you want ideas on free events, I got a whole list here. All you got to do is be the ringleader. You got to put it together. People love going to these things. Nobody likes putting it together. So put your time and effort into it. Gather up your sponsors. Get together with other businesses. You can have some successful events for all of you.
Well, what's one of our next ones? A pool event, I want to say, a pool party for
pool parties.
End of school, or is that what it is? End of school party?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another one.
So we have visitors, we have accountants, we have renters, we have owners, we have people with responsibilities and tracts of land. So would you suggest for something to pull a community together that's kind of a mix?
Barbecue.
Block party.
Yeah.
So block party, what do you have? National Night Out's one of our things. I'll probably just on the list that Tanin's pulled.
So how many of you are already doing National Night Out on your block?
2?
The 2 from my neighborhood. Thank you, ladies. Everybody should be doing National Night Out. That's a national thing that's put together with police officers that are saying, if you know your neighbors, it's known to have a more safer neighborhood by getting to know the people around you, right? Here's your opportunity. Put a flyer together with your QR code back to your sign-up genius that they have to sign up for potluck, and you're door knocking, inviting them to this. This is not a real estate thing. You're not wearing your real estate shirt. I hope you don't do that. This is you getting to know your neighbors, and then you follow up with postcards with all your marketing information. And you had a question in the back. It's done once a year. Florida's in October.
We go as far as to put lights across the road, like rope lights, strings that you block down the whole street. The kids play football, run scooters.
I leave out like lawn games, and then I have a movie on for the kids, like on an outdoor
It's
screen.
potluck style.
Yeah, I just set up tables for people to put food on, and I bring the plates. And they bring chairs, they bring their own drinks, and the whole block stays out for hours. Just talking, chatting,
Yeah.
the kids are running around, and you walk off that section of the street, it's just like lights.
You could do things like book clubs, wine clubs, poker nights. It does not have to be, you don't have to overthink this, right? Don't overthink it. Just put together something to where you can get to know somebody, make it consistent. We got coffee in cars, buy some donuts, put out some coffee, invite people with the classic cars out. Community parks.
Maybe there's not a lot that's not developed on yet that's nearby that you can get with the owner and see, you know, I don't know, insurance purposes, but, you know. Yeah. But, you know, if you don't have a Facebook group already, this is a great one. So if you've got 80 homes is what she has, if you didn't hear her question earlier, you know, so if you've got, if you don't have a community page at all for your area?
Well, I'm on the board, and we have HOA Ally, so I do a newsletter that goes out through Ally, which is a platform that sends information out to our community. So we have a lot of...
But do you have a Facebook page for it, or Instagram?
We don't, because...
That's what you need.
They push back against me. I want to do the Facebook page because a lot of people on our board are older and they're not social media savvy.
They don't have to be.
They went through this platform, and so that's why we're using that. But my preference would be the coming up. They tell them Facebook something, so...
Do you have restaurants and bars near you? Restaurants and bars? I would host a trivia night. I would, within a few miles. I would get together at the bar or restaurant and say, hey, let's do a trivia night at your place. Can I invite my neighbors? I'm going to put this together. Maybe you got a special deal you can give everybody.
10% off or free.
If there's a
apps or
will, there's a
something,
way.
half
If you
off-
want to get people
half off
together,
apps.
you're going to find a way to get people together, right?
But you don't, I mean, I'm on the HOA as well, so like we can't have one for our community like that I run personally, but you can have one that maybe that you run over, but it's not, yeah, it's not an FH, it's not a HOA main page, it's just a place that all your neighbors can come to as a resource. And you put all that other stuff on there.
Stacy?
I was just going to recommend, since she said she had a lot of elderly people in the neighborhood, she could do what Cypress Lakes does and have once a month an over 55 seniors dinner, where every month, like maybe the last Saturday of the month, you all go to a particular restaurant and you just eat. Everybody pays for their dinner.
We've done that with the board.
Yeah, but do it for seniors. Yeah.
Any other challenges people are having out there with marketing in their neighborhood or anything else you've learned today? Well, then I think we are done. Thank you, Mitch.
All right, that was pretty awesome stuff. They didn't tell me and Dan how to grow our hair back, but, you know, that's coming, right? That's the next one. Thanks for coming. Our next one event will be in June. We have a date, June something? June 5th-ish? 5th-ish? Is that a date, 5th-ish? We haven't figured out the topic yet. By the way, if there's things that you do want to learn, let us know, because we're always looking for new subject matter to bring speakers in, or for me to teach, or for Pat to tell me to learn. And thank you again for coming. We'll see you guys next time.